Hi everybody, John here. I hope the summer's been good to you. It's been pretty good here. In Europe we've been having quite a heat wave. That's sadly past now because it's raining and quite stormy outside at the moment, but there was a good few weeks there where we didn't have any rain and the media was going crazy with concerns about running out of water and everything. It seems ridiculous here in Wales. It rains nearly all the time. Anyway, I just thought I'd follow up on the Vinyl Professor's first video that he posted for a while when he's been away for the summer, and talk a little bit about gatefold sleeves, or records that lost their gatefold sleeves, yeah, just keep this short just to get the ball rolling for this season of vinyl community video making. So James showed a few records that have been gatefold sleeves, that I guess in later issues that they lost that gatefold sleeve. And I think really he was sort of wondering, you know, how that affects things. I'm going to start off by showing this. This is the second Genesis album, Trespass, and it's a sort of a later reissue, and well, yeah, it's got the cover where the picture continues onto the back, and it kind of gets lost a little bit, I suppose, if you haven't got the gatefold. If you look at the gatefold, you can appreciate the whole picture, if you like that. I may need to put in some images into this to make that a bit more clear. And of course, in the middle of the gatefold, you've got this lovely sort of pastoral image. I've always liked that. It seems to say so much about yeah, the music of Genesis in some way. Another one which I will show now is the famous record Tapestry by Carole King. This is the non-gatefold sleeve version. I don't particularly like this typography on the back. As a designer, I'm always very conscious of these long rows of text. You know, people that read, or all of us that read, our eye feels much more comfortable reading lines of letter or words for about 7, 8, 9, 10 words long in a column. Reason being because your eye can quickly trace its way back to the next line down. When you're reading across a long distance like this, you instantly lose where you are. So it's not such a comfortable read, and if you're trying to compel someone to read your information, you wouldn't necessarily sort of set it like this, because it just makes it difficult. Yeah, save a lot of space as well if you put it into columns, because you don't have so much dead space at the end of paragraphs. But yeah, back to the cover itself though. It's called Tapestry, and I've never really understood. It's something that I've just really thought about recently. Here is the gatefold sleeve of this record, with the same bad typography on the back. In the centerfold, you've got a tapestry there, and that kind of, you know, makes you understand why the album is called Tapestry, I suppose. I mean, it sort of brings it into context. In fact, if you look closer, like I said, I've only just recently noticed this, the tapestry that is in the gatefold is actually something that Carole King is holding in her lap here. Never really thought about that. I just assumed that was as part of a cardigan or something like that, but obviously it's not. In fact, you can see it a little bit better on the non-gatefold sleeve I've got here, because there's a lot less contrast in the way that this image is being produced. So the shadows aren't quite so dark, and you can see a little bit more of the details. There's a tapestry. Yeah, that whole message gets lost, I think, without the gatefold. Here's another one, interesting one. So, Melody Saska. Picked up a lot of her records in the States when I lived there. This is called In the City, Garden in the City, Melanie. This is a non-gatefold sleeve. When I first got hold of this record, it was gatefold sleeve. So you'll see how, yeah, non-gatefold, gatefold. And look what happens when you open the gatefold. It's like a die-cut one. It reveals the garden in the city. Yeah, pretty cool. I think so anyway. Now obviously that gets totally lost in the non-gatefold sleeve version. Okay, well those are the three that I wanted to show. I've got a few other gatefold sleeves here where I thought I would talk a little bit. And here's a really unusual one. So this is Big Country. It's their 4th album. The album itself gets slated by critics and fans alike because they say that it was the one where they sort of compromised their sounds in the pursuit of sort of winning over the American market, I suppose. And if you know anything about Big Country, they were, I think they're actually considered as sort of like a one-hit wonder band in America. But obviously here in Great Britain, they've got a lot of acclaim. And the guy, the main sort of Mr. Big Country, Stuart Adamson, he's very highly regarded, and he's dead now, but when he died they had all sorts of big concerts for him in his honour and all this sort of stuff. It was kind of political, kind of lyrics and things like that were popular with his fans and still are. But this album doesn't really include much of that. What I've really thought so odd about this record, and I don't know if it's, if they're all like this, I just assume they are. This gatefold is a left-handed gatefold. So this is the front, this is the back. It's got a spine here on the right-hand side. Yeah, so you'd open it like this. And there's the band inside. I've often wondered why it is so that it is a reverse gatefold. What's the significance? I've even tried to look in the liner notes and find out names of people. I haven't been able to contact the designers, but I did write to somebody who was credited as the photographer for the front album cover. And she wrote back to me actually and said, although she's credited as being, what does it say by her name, it says front cover, she said she didn't actually do the collage, that was done by somebody else. What she did was take the photograph of the collage so that it could be used on the cover. She hasn't been able to tell me any other information. It just seems so strange that, assuming this collage was made with the intention of appearing on this record cover, that it was made in such a way that they were forced to make the cover sort of reversible like this. I think if you look on the CD editions and the cassette editions, they focus mainly on this section of the illustration there. On the record it doesn't work, obviously, and you'd assume that, well, maybe they could have made it the reverse side, so just completely reverse the image round. So this section ended over here and this section started over here. No, it's odd. Anyone that can tell me any information about that, I'd be really interested. I'll go also on to the use of gatefold sleeves, I've often thought it kind of funny sometimes when you get an album and it's in a gatefold sleeve, and the artist or whoever's produced the record has made such a poor use of the centerfold. Go back to this one. So here we've got Big Country, just spoken about that, and the centerfold is sort of a big colourful picture of the band, you know, which is quite good. If you think how Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, it's got, you know, the picture of the Beatles in the middle, very high colour, very rich image, isn't it? And when that came out, you know, television was still black and white. You didn't see, well, newspapers were black and white in those days. For all I know, magazines most probably were too. You didn't see that much coloured printed material about. So when you opened up a record cover in those days, yeah, this very rich image in the middle was really quite, you know, something to appreciate and sort of gaze at. I think we've become desensitised to that these days, and I guess Big Country, they've done it here like other bands do, as part of the you know, the tradition, if you like, of having a big picture of the band inside. A good use, I think, is, I'll show this one. This is Dire Straits, another band with a collage here. And what I like about the inside of this, well, because it's a big collage, yeah, so it's quite a nice record cover, I think. What I like about the inside is they've used to really sort of make an illustration of, you know, the atmosphere that you might get at a Dire Straits concert. I've never seen Dire Straits live, but this is a live album, double live album, and I think this gatefold really kind of makes you feel of sort of some of the atmosphere that you might feel at this concert, which I think is a great use of a gatefold sleeve. Another one I'll show in that regard is Rush. So this is another live double album, Exit Stage Left, and it's quite a clever cover. If you're sort of familiar with a lot of the artwork that you'll find on Rush covers, you'll see on this live album they've actually picked out various different characters from their studio albums and put them into one sort of photo image. Here's the girl that's walking across permanent waves, and here's the two guys that appear in moving pictures, and so on and so forth. And so that's really quite an interesting way of doing it, good use of imagery. But then you think, well, so what's going on in here then? I mean, okay, I mean, as a designer, you know, you often sort of use the phrase, you know, white space is good space, you know, because you don't always want to fill the image totally. White space is sort of a good way of, I don't know, drawing emphasis to something. But I feel this is a complete waste of a gatefold sleeve. They could have done something in a similar vein to this thing. I mean, even if they'd have sort of used illustrations to do or something, I don't know. It just seems such a wasted opportunity to not use that to a much better extent. What have we got? Here's perhaps what they could have done. So this is an album by Fish, Virgil in a Wilderness of Mirrors, and you know, it's sort of typical illustration style of Marillion, which he sort of recently left at this point when he was making this. And what's really nice is the gatefold sleeve is, you know, the complete illustration, of which only a section is used as the front cover. Lovely, beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, there's so much that you could do with a gatefold sleeve that some people just seem to miss out the idea. Okay, well, I've got a few more, but I'm going to stop there. Right, well, thanks very much for watching. Hope that was interesting. I'm planning on doing some fun videos over the coming months now, and I'm going to pick up where I left off with my heavy metal and hard rock videos. I'm going to bare my soul on at least one video coming up, and just generally show much more of what I've been collecting recently and what I've been listening to. And hey, maybe between now and Christmas, maybe I'll even enter into some contests or something. Okay, everybody, thank you very much. It's been great summer. Looking forward to the autumn. Take care. Check out my next video. Bye.